Hey, what's going on, guys? Glide and Bear here. Thanks for stopping by the channel. I hope the video finds you well, your family's safe, and your love for twos and threes growing stronger each and every day. I got a good one for you today. You're going to want to check this out. But before we begin, please be reminded, like, share, subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, leave your comments. I need your feedback. That's how we learn. That's the purpose of the channel. All right, but let's get into it. What if I told you I was able to tune my all-American 147 cubic inch motor using the Harley-Davidson factory ECM? I know, let me say it again. What if I told you I tuned this 147 motor using the stock ECM? I mean, full access to the fuel and timing tables, the VE tables, the whole gamut. Listen, guys, no ThunderMax, no Power Vision, no Impact Wiring Solutions device, no other devices, just the stock ECM. And I'm telling you, I cannot believe the results. I am still in disbelief. But before we get into it, let me back up just a second. Let me explain how I got here in this unique position, right? My journey started with purchasing this motorcycle. And I decided to have Harley install the 135 kit before I even took it off the dealership lot, because I knew my focus on this particular motorcycle was going to be performance. I did the cosmetic thing with my other bikes, the bags and the wheels and the music. I wanted performance this time. And with that being said, that particular build came with the Impact Wiring Solutions tuner. I was told that's the best tuner, going to be the best tuner. I want the best from this bike. Huge investment. That's what I went with, right? But I got the bike back, and man, it just wasn't running right. The bike wasn't performing right. Something was wrong. And I'm completely devastated. And just to get to the end of it, to save time, I had a huge mechanical breakdown with the motor. Huge mechanical breakdown, right? And again, not just devastated, but pissed. So upset. I don't even think I reached 1,000 miles yet, and this has happened to me, right? So I was on a warpath to get this bike back right, get it built right, and doing a lot of research, trying to figure out who I should deal with, who I should take my bike to, talking to people across the country, talking to people right here in Florida. All fingers continue to point to George at All American Cycles, continuously. George, All American Cycles. So I decided to go down there and meet with George to see if he can help me get back on the road. Now, as many of you may know, George is simply one of the best mechanics in the game now for these machines, 100%. And he's right here in my backyard in South Florida, right? So I took my bike to him for a consult. He heard the bike start, and almost immediately he was able to diagnose the issue. I continued visiting the shop where, George and his crew, his family, they earned my trust. But after seeing his work firsthand, day in and day out, quality work, man, I decided not only to allow him to repair what I had, but I wanted George to bulletproof my motor. I told George to build it to pull hard, but also build it to last, to be reliable. And 100%, that's what he gave me. No questions asked. And that was the origin of my 147 build. But if you're interested and you want to know the mechanical breakdown specifically and how the 147 came together with parts and all that good stuff, go back and check out the other video I made, my first video entitled Another 2025 CVO Breakdown. It's my first video. I was learning, excuse the music, but once you get past the first couple minutes, it's better to deal with. You'll be okay. It's worth watching, I promise you. But look, in this process of getting the 135 from Harley and the 147 from George, I ended up having two of the top tuners on the market. The ThunderMax, George's preference for his builds and his tunes, and then the Impact, which was still sitting in my garage collecting dust from the Harley 135 build. So I felt I'm in a unique, rare opportunity to figure out which one of these tuners would work best on this beast of a 147 cubic inch motor. And just for clarification, let's be clear here, nothing was wrong with my bike. George built an incredible motor, tuned it perfectly with the ThunderMax. Even when I took it to Matt with those Dyno guys, Matt said the bike already had a great tune. But this wasn't about fixing anything for me. This is about curiosity and wanting the best product on this bike, because that's simply what I want. So how often you get a chance to compare two of the best tuners out there on a motor this size? So for me, this is an opportunity that I simply couldn't pass up. And like many of you, we just want the best product on our bike. We want the best parts. And this was a chance for me to see firsthand, side-by-side comparison, which one will work best. So that's what I decided to do, man. I looked and looked for reputable tuners that had success with the Impact Wiring Solutions device.
Hey, good morning, everyone. You're riding shotgun with Matt. And I'm going to talk about the new Impact Wiring Solutions ECM, because I'm starting to do more of them and I'm actually really impressed with it. That ECM is super fast. How it learns, the speed of which it picks up data, it's unlike anything that I've experienced yet in this industry. So it's really a groundbreaking.
But I didn't want to travel out the state. And I found a guy in Florida who I've been watching a while, probably the last 4 or 5 months online. And he's been doing some good stuff with this Impact Wiring Solution. So I said, you know what, let me reach out to him and see if he can help me out. And he said he could. And I set an appointment, and I was ready to go out there and see how the Impact would perform on my 147. I already know how it performs with the ThunderMax. And I headed over to Pinellas Park, and just to get this process started. I pull up, I meet Matt, and we talk for a little bit. I pulled the bike on the dyno, and we started getting into having some real good conversation. And then he told me something that I really wasn't expecting. Totally was not expecting at all, right? But he begins to tell me, he says, listen, man, I'm currently a participant in a beta testing program with a company that he's been working with for years. And he said the company developed a brand new software that lets him tune directly to the factory ECM. And I don't mean just mild adjustments. Again, I'm talking about full access to all the tables, the fuel, timing, throttle, the entire power band. And look, like I said, I follow him on social media, and he made a post a while back about working with a company and something brand new coming soon type deal. But when I saw the post, it was cryptic. I just don't do cryptic. If I can't know, I don't bother asking. It's not for me. That's how I move. But once Matt told me what it was, he had my interest. And the reason is to have an ECM specifically made for my bike, my motorcycle. And let me stop here for a second and tell you guys, when Harley-Davidson brings something to market, they've been conducting research and development on that product, bike, whatever it may be, for the last 2.5 years. So the ECM that came with my bike was specifically made for my bike to operate well with my bike. So to get that back on my bike, I think it's going to improve the functionality of every function on my motorcycle as originally intended, almost immediately. And let me tell you something, guys, it did, but we'll talk about that later. So to have the improved functionality, but still be able to tune a 147 beast, yeah, he had my full attention at this point. And here's the kicker. According to Matt, my Harley would have been the first, or is the first, 147 cubic inch motor ever tuned this way with this particular software, right? And I was thinking, man, this isn't just about comparing which tuner would be best for my bike anymore. This is a possibility where, you know, it can make a little Harley-Davidson history. Yeah, I was all in. But let me tell you guys something. I am not going to pretend like I am a tuner. I'm not going to pretend that I understand the specifics, ins and out of tuning. After watching Matt all day session, I think we started around 9:45ish. I ended up leaving him till like maybe, I don't know, 8:30 at night. It's a skill and an art combined. And Matt even told me his history. This guy was an aerospace engineer or machinist, something to that effect. Something very serious, and takes a lot of skill and qualifications. There's no question why he specializes in this tuning and why he's so good at it. The guy's just an incredible guy, right? So he sat down with me, right, and gave me a talk. We discussed the entire process. He walked me through how the new software works, what it means for Harley performance, and why it could be a complete game changer for big bore builds and other modified engines moving forward. So, man, let's dive into that conversation with Matt, where he breaks it down step by step.
These Gen 2s don't really want a bunch of timing, but there's a fine line between too much and too little with these. If you roll on area like around 3 here, so say you're cruising, this thing's not really working, so you're mid-20s. As you're rolling into it, it probably realistically wanted to jump into the single digits, but it couldn't momentarily. And that's part of the problem with the ThunderMax is it's not a speed density tune, so it's just not as accurate of a tune.
Those Dino Guys with the man himself, Matt. How you doing, Matt? How's everything?
I'm good, Daniel.
Okay, so as you guys just heard, I gave you the reason why I came by and met with Matt, and I really chose him because he definitely knows what he's doing. And I'm going to let him explain to you what he did tonight. Really made a drastic improvement on my bike. So Matt, tell us what happened today.
All right, well, obviously this morning you rode over from the west coast of Florida, and you rode across the state a couple 100 miles to see me for a ThunderMax or an impact tune or whatever. But you got here, we realized that how many miles you're putting on the bike, and I decided to go a totally different route than I normally would have. Your bike's highly modified. It's a 147-inch engine, high compression, but it's still pump gas friendly. We chose the Mad Lad Solutions route. It's Mad Lad Solutions. It's a company that I've been working with for years. They have the ability now to crack these new 23.5 CVOs, non-VVTs actually. I can't say, it depends on your calibration level. Some VVT bikes, we've got to rewrite the software. Some of them we don't have to. But I'm able to tune the factory ECM now, no other hardware needed. And
so just to be clear,
that's what I did.
You said no other hardware needed. There won't be a need to go purchase anything else. Correct. Your factory ECM
uses your factory ECM, retain all of your factory functions, your ride modes, the ability. This is really important, and why I chose it for you is if you show up on this highly modified bike to anywhere USA, say you're out on a trip, you have problems. You pull up to a dealership and you've got, an ECM. It could be a very good product, but anyone at that dealership doesn't know anything about them. Now you have the luxury with Mad Lad, where you can pull up to any Harley dealer and they can plug into your bike and run diagnostics. And I think that's pretty important.
That's huge. That's very huge. And a lot of times, a lot of the other ECUs were still learning the new bikes and new systems. Those of you out there, you know what I'm talking about. But it's an extreme comfort level to be able to use the factory ECM in your bike and still tune it. So that's been unheard of. You haven't been able to tune the factory ECM in forever. What has changed? Tell us about Mad Lad and what that's all about.
Well, they just recognized that there was a need in the market. Everyone's dealing with the same thing. The world has changed. People don't particularly like to have to carry inventory, and that checks all those boxes, where any shop doesn't have to have any special inventory on hand. They just need to get a hold of Mad Lad, and they'll set them straight.
So let's show everybody why this worked out so good today. What happened today?
We made history. We took a bike that it ran good when it came in. It full throttle, there was no problems.
let's show the world and everyone what is amazing about it. Tell us what we're looking at right here.
Well, when you came in, you had 189 horsepower and 176 foot-pounds of torque, and that was with the ThunderMax. And like I said, it was pretty good. It wasn't bad. But now with the factory ECM in 6th gear, it wouldn't let us go out as far as the ThunderMax did. We're limited by a 158 mile an hour speed limiter. So that's why you see it cut short, but it really doesn't matter because the bike was done making power anyways. So we picked up about 12 horse under the curve up top in those dips, and right off the hit at $3,000, we picked up about 14 foot-pounds of torque. But we just straightened everything out. It's a nice,
awesome. And as you
nice flat torque curve.
You can see max power 194 and max torque 185 with the factory ECM, guys. Factory ECM, those Dyno guys. Matt. Wow.
So let me ask you some questions, Daniel. Did you have any apprehensions this morning when I said we can tune it without
100%. 100%. I think we probably took a good hour and a half. I asked you a bunch of questions, and detailed questions. How does this compare to a ThunderMax or IWS? What can you do with this new MadLad system versus those ECMs, and what's the difference? Without lacking any power? I had those questions very much so, and what the benefits were. You know, the factory ECM was made for this bike, and that's a huge benefit that I couldn't get out of my mind. It's made for my bike, so there wouldn't be any issues as far as any technical issues while some of the ECMs are still learning these new highly technical machines that's being put out right now. So that was a major concern for me. And I tell you what, honestly, it just intrigued me, to be honest. It really did. And I felt like, with you, it'd probably be a good move to see what it can do.
Sure. So
it's totally from my understanding. Now, listen, guys, Matt, you have to tell me, is there any negatives to this system compared to a ThunderMax or IWS or anything like that? Well, I should ask you that. Let's scratch that question, because I don't want you to say negatives.
No, I'm not going to say negatives. The biggest thing is this is a flash system. So in order to put the new tune in the bike, you have to shut the bike off, send the tune. That takes time.
Yeah.
Whereas ThunderMax or IWS, it's all on the fly. That's all live.
Yeah.
So this does take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And it did. Yeah, it did. It really did. But every time you would, if I'm remembering correctly, every time you made an adjustment, you would go ahead and make a bunch of changes, and you have to upload that tune again.
Yes, I mean, process is you data collect. So we're running the bike through its paces, collecting all that data.
Yeah.
And then I look at what I just collected, and then you've just got to go through it and figure out, is what you're looking at real, or is it false reading? Is it, what do we have to do in this tune, and what parameters do we have to change in order to optimize everything?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, guys, man, that's Matt with Those Dino Guys. I implore you to check him out. Go to his website, book a tune as soon as you can if you're interested. I'm going to take you guys on my ride home tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit, and I'm going to let you know how the bike rides, how it feels, what's going on with the motorcycle. But you know what? For all intents and purposes, being able to use a Harley product and to be able to have access so you can tune the bike. And listen, this is a 147 modified engine. This is not a standard 117. This is not a 121. This is a modified engine. Oh, by the way,
this needs to be talked about.
Yeah, I was going to just talk about it.
This has a out of the box Screaming Eagle extreme heavy breather. With these Gen 2 heads, this system now works very well, whereas the Milwaukee 8s and the Gen 1s, this would have choked our power. And I mean, as you've seen at that power curve, this is absolutely beautiful. Another thing that was shocking was this is a 147-inch engine, and this is an out-of-the-box stock D&D Billet Cat exhaust system with a Vortex baffle. In Milwaukee 8s in the past, we would have had to put a giant primary exhaust system like a Burns or a lot of the other companies out there. in order to make an engine of this size perform without choking it off.
Yeah.
So this Gen 2 setup it's really changing the way that we're tuning.
Listen, man, it's working great. Like you said, I have Gen 2 stock heads, guys, that came with the 135 kit. Plus 2 straight from Harley. They're not ported or anything like that. Those are stock heads. My manifold is a 68 millimeter. I'm sorry, ported. It's ported 68 millimeter that I have there. But other than that, guys, 147 cubic inch engine built by All American Cycle. You guys know about those guys. They built a phenomenal engine. And this is just something that's brand new to the market. Am I the first one to get this Mad Lad on this size engine that you know about?
This is the largest engine tuned with the factory ECM through Mad Lad right now in the world.
Gliding Bear 1911. Say that one more. This is the largest engine.
This is the largest engine that Mad Lad has tuned in the world right now.
Wow. Wow. If you guys is watching this, I know I probably hold that crown maybe for a week. A lot of you guys have much bigger builds than I do. And this is not a race bike. This is my touring bike. Okay. But again, this is something brand new. I didn't come here for this. I didn't expect this. And I tell you what, the results speak for themselves.
I mean, with that D&D exhaust system coupled with that Cyclorama the 550 cam, it produced just a fantastic torque curve.
The D&D pipe, guys, go watch my video. I just dropped that a while ago. When you see that, and I'm talking about the D&D pipes, you can't go wrong with those pipes. Those pipes are pretty awesome. But Matt knows his stuff. Matt is the man, and he has my recommendation, especially after tonight. Once I make it back to the East Coast and see how the bike rides, it looked like it rides great. It looks smooth, and just he touched everywhere on that power band Matt touched. So I mean, hats off to him and Mad Lad. Wow, awesome. I didn't even know this existed. I didn't even know this was an option. So awesome work, guys. We're going to sign out here. Please don't remember to like, share, subscribe. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And I'll definitely reach back out to you as soon as possible. But Matt, Those Dino Guys, check them out. We'll see you next time.
What's up, family? What's up, family? I hope you can hear me good. It's real windy going on right now. Make some adjustments. Anyway, headed back home right now, back to Palm Beach County, leaving Matt's at Those Dino Guys. Had a really good experience. Good experience. Again, let me tell you again, I had no idea whatsoever this was going to happen today. According to Matt, my bike is the first bike of its cubic inch size tuned by Mad Lad using the factory ECM and the Mad Lad software to tune this bike just like a It just gives access to the ECM to able to work and touch things that previously they weren't allowed to use. And again, I'm very excited to try this out. I'm excited to see how it goes. So far, so good, guys. The bike seems to be running good so far. Listen, with my motor build from All American, the bike was running like a stock bike, but had the power of a 147. 5 points away from a 200 horsepower bike. The power was there. The power is right there. Like, I mean, I felt like that front tire wanted to pick up on me just now. But with that being said, now with the factory ECM, all the inner workings, how the infotainment system communicates with the ECM, all that should marry up well together. I mean, there's no technical glitches. There's no cruise control not working or engine temperature issues, or there shouldn't be any of that moving forward. And so, hey man, I'm just excited to see how this goes. I'm paying huge attention to my gas mileage, making sure my gas mileage is right. And make sure I'm not using too much gas. Just monitoring everything quite closely to be sure that nothing's out of whack, everything is operating the way it should. So, hey man, I'm excited. Anything that I'm going to talk to you about, stay tuned. But yeah.
All right, family, there you have it. 147 cubic inch, naturally aspirated. Stock Harley-Davidson heavy breather. Stock Harley-Davidson heads +2. Ward supported 16 millimeter throttle body. You got the D&D billet cat vortex baffle. Okay, pump gas. 6 points away from 200. Tuned with the Mad Lad software. And then Matt himself from Those Dino Guys put his touch on the bike. Book a tune with Matt as soon as possible. Tell him Glide and Bear sent you. Other than that, ride safe. 2 wheels down at all times. Stay cool, man. Glide and Bear out.